On January 2nd, Versus becomes the NBC Sports Network.
It is one of the longest journeys in racing. Boats on a boat ride to Qatar. The Air National Guard Unlimited Hydroplane Series making the trip from the United States of America to the Persian Gulf. That trip begins with a truck ride to northern Florida to meet up with the cargo ship Grand Champion. Then early one morning, each boat, trailer, and truck is carefully loaded aboard for the trip to Doha Bay. Waiting at the other end, the Air National Guard season finale. And for 3 days, this popular brand of American racing will be the focus of thousands and thousands of international fans. Yes, man and machine have made one of the longest trips in racing to try and capture one of the biggest prizes in racing, the UIM World Championship. Versus presents a World Championship event. It's the season finale for the Air National Guard Unlimited Hydroplane Series. Today, it's the UIM World Championship on Doha Bay in Doha, Qatar. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Weber. Welcome to Doha. And from all of us at Versus and for the entire Air National Guard H1 family to your family, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Dave Villwock wrapped up the driving championship in San Diego and captured the coveted team championship with a win in his first heat here in Doha. But behind Dave, a stocking stuffed with battles for points and prestige. Battles that pit teammate against teammate, veteran against rookie, rival against rival, and friend against friend. And on top of all that, there's a world championship on the line with everyone in boat racing, literally from around the world, watching what unfolds here in Doha. Let's get you up to speed, starting with the course description. And for that, the man that drove his team to the 2006 National High Point Team Championship, my partner, Mike Allen.
Thank you, Bill. We sure are a long way from home, and this weekend we've got an exciting race course that kind of gives you a combination between Seattle and San Diego. We've got salt water, we've got a 2-mile course, but probably bigger than any other challenge this weekend will be what the drivers have to contend with when a freighter goes by 2 or 3 miles past the race course and sends in a rogue wave that the drivers will have to deal with on this back straightaway. And of course, on the front straightaway, they've got backwash from the seawall.
Thanks, Mike. There is the new National High Point champion, clinching the driving title in San Diego, and the team championship with a win earlier this weekend. And it's been a big weekend for the drivers, like 2010 national champion Steve David, posing for lots and lots of pictures. Everybody brought their camera on this trip. Drivers have been signing autographs, showing off their boats. Jeff Bernard, his wife Christabel, Jeff a winner in Heat 2C. Now, we've already completed the first 2 rounds of heat races. Dave Villwock and Steve David each with 2 heat victories. Bernard and Kip Brown also posted wins. Villwock was also the top qualifier. The boat's in the pits right outside of downtown Doha. This is the season finale, last day of class. So let's find out what the old report card looks like for some of these guys.
The season's been interesting. You know, Madison, we were doing real well and then had a crash, so I guess that would be an incomplete. Missed Detroit, so that would be a 0. Tri-Cities, we were able to pull out a 2nd. That was a B. Seattle, we won. That was an A+. San Diego, they changed the starting format. We won all of our preliminaries but drew lane 5, so I'm going to give the school an F on that one. Here in Doha, so far 2 wins. So far, for the first 2 semesters, we got A's.
We were good, and then it seemed like Tri-Cities we went backwards, and we've had a lot of motor issues. Kind of rebounding this weekend. We've had a good points weekend, so I'd have to say a C.
I'd probably give it about a C+, B. It's been pretty good. We won some heats, qualified real well at most races, been in all the finals, podiumed. So, I mean, I would give it an A if we were to win a race.
My team's performance has been A+. I've had my ups and downs this season, but the ups far outweigh the downs. And I would grade my personal season a B+.
I'd have to give our team an A. I mean, you know, it might not show at times, but we've continued to get better every single race, and it definitely showed this weekend with qualifying. pretty much all year we've been at the bottom of the list in qualifying, and this weekend we got the degree men up in the top 4, which is a huge plus for us. So I'd have to give the guys an A.
All right, let's get to the action on the water. Again, the lanes are selected by the drivers in the order of the draw. So J.W. Myers was the first boat drawn for Heat 3A. He took the short way around for the Peters and May machine. Dave Villwock in the Spirit of Qatar looking to make it 3 for 3 this weekend. He's already got a couple of wins. That's on board with Greg Hopp. And this boat has been really fast this weekend, a 2nd and a 3rd so far in Doha.
Yeah, Bill, I tell you what, Greg Hopp's got a pretty good bit of shoot speed. He's in good shape here to give Villwock a run for his money. And don't count out J.W. Myers on the inside there.
Jeff Bernard in the 5-gram trucking boat has to start outside in lane 5. It has not been a lot of fun for those guys this weekend, although Jeff does have a heat victory here in Doha. Coming out of turn 2, headed for the starting line. You see the Peters and May countdown clock.
Wow, look at the head of steam, Bill, on the outside here by J. Michael Kelly in the 88 boat.
He's in lane 4. He's got Bernard on his right. They head for turn 1. The start is good. All boats are legal.
Greg Hopp doing a pretty good job of keeping that thing in lane 2, and it looks like he's got some speed as well, Bill.
Yeah, he's been fast this weekend. He's pretty happy with that boat. That's on board with Villwock. J. Michael Kelly in lane 4. Villwock on his left. Dave trying to reach out and take the lead, and he's got it there.
See some of those rollers coming in from the right side there. That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, Bill. These are some of those rogue waves that just could come across at any time.
You don't know when they're going to show up.
No, you have no idea, and then the water is really similar to the same color as the sky, and it's hard to read it.
It's on board with Greg Hopp. There's your leader, Dave Villwock, coming around to complete the first lap. Hopp really pushing him in lane 2.
Looks like Greg may have enough room to come over and close the door on J.W. Myers, which will help him out when it comes to running down this straightaway with Villwock.
Villwock, 131.872 miles per hour on that first lap. Going about a football field a second out there.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, Bill, but these guys at the end of the straightaway, we're looking at 200 miles an hour.
J. Michael Kelly, the degree men machine. There's Jeff Bernard trying to move his way inside. Started way out there in lane 5, but he's well behind the race leader. That's Dave Villwock in the 96 Spirit of Qatar. You hear Dave throughout the season talk about racing for more than himself or his team, racing for a country, and he's doing it in front of that country today, racing here in Doha, Qatar.
Greg Hopp has given this everything he's got, Bill. He's holding that inside lane perfectly, trying to get around his race course as quick as he can to catch Dave.
J.W. Myers a little off the pace, so Hopp's been able to move over and take that inside lane.
Boy, you want to know how salty this race course is? Look at the white water all over the place. These guys have to stay clear of all of this saltwater spray because it just really wreaks havoc on those turbine engines.
Busy in there, huh?
Busy, very busy.
J.W. just 90 miles per hour for his first lap, so he's struggling in the Peters and May ride. Spirit of Qatar, Dave Villwock. Then the Leland racing machine for Greg Hopp. Mike Kelly rides in 3rd in that 88 machine, over 128 miles per hour on his second lap. And there's Jeff Bernard, only 124 miles on his second lap, a little off the pace. Been another fine afternoon for Dave Villwock. Coming out of turn 2 to complete the final lap in this heat will be his 3rd heat victory of the weekend.
Solid finish here by the 88 degree men, Bill, but look at the inside lane. Greg Hopp and the Fred Leland team doing an outstanding job with a 2nd place finish.
Villwock gets the win, Hopp 2nd, and J. Michael Kelly comes home 3rd, a 4th place for Jeff Bernard. Another good run for Dave Villwock. There's Brian Perkins getting ready to race in Heat 3B, and after a tough start to the season, this team has shown some solid improvement.
We've really come on strong, I think, towards the end of the season here, and from Tri-Cities till now, we're excited to have the new sponsors on board, Muscle Farm and Tap Out, and we're going to work during the off-season to maybe put some more muscle under the hood. That's what we need, so we'll see what happens.
Good luck to Brian. Hey, those are U.S. troops serving overseas. This weekend, they are honorary officials and crew members.
Hi, I'm Specialist Nicole Hubbard from Fallon, Missouri. I'm here with the 175th MP Battalion, helping out with the Alberta race team. I want to say happy holidays to my friends and family back home. I love you, Gramps.
In a moment, a person's world can be turned upside down. These are the times when you can deliver one of life's most important gifts, hope. These are the times we prepare for as health professionals in the Air Guard. So explore our website or talk to a recruiter today and discover the challenge, adventure, and excitement of serving your community and country in the Air Guard.
When the world's best go racing on water, they all have one thing in common. Propellers by 5-Axis Industries. Unlimited Hydroplanes, the world's fastest race boats. Class 1, where performance and endurance are put to an incredible test. 5-Axis propellers power champions in offshore, F1, and anywhere else. High performance on water means extremely high performance. The world's best rely on propellers from 5-Axis Industries, where technology and craftsmanship come together.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
All over the world, there's a battery that's relied on to help bring children holiday joy. Of course, children don't really think about which battery makes their toy run. But still, you'd never want to disappoint. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
Under the tree that matters. It's who's around it.
On January 2nd, a new era in sports coverage begins as Versus becomes the NBC Sports Network. It all begins at 4 with post-game coverage of the Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic. At 4:30, it's the premiere of Cold War on Ice, a documentary looking back at the climactic series between the Canadian All-Stars and the Soviet Union. Then at 6, it's NBC Sports Talk, followed by the Sharks and Canucks. January 2nd, the launch of the NBC Sports Network.
Coverage of the 2011 Air National Guard Hydroplane Series is brought to you by Air National Guard. Visit goang.com to learn more about exciting opportunities in your area. Falcon Sports, get out and play paintball. Check falconpaintball.com for a field near you. And by Whispering Turbines, where life begins at 200 miles per hour.
Well, after a busy night, Santa Claus made the trip to Doha. Saw the reindeer at a petting zoo on the way in this morning. I'm sure he delivered plenty of RC boats last night. Let's take a look at the results from Heat 3A.
Yeah, no surprise here, Bill. Dave Villwalk with first place. Greg Hopp doing a nice job coming in second. J. Michael Kelly and the Degree Men in third. Jeff Bernard fourth, and J.W. Myers fifth.
Well, it's certainly been a record-setting season for Dave Villwalk, and you're now with the driving championship and the team championship. And I know the most important word in there to you is team.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a great season. You know, we've had some adversity. We've ran well. You know, we've won the Gold Cup. We won the Muncie deal. We've won the championship, and now we're trying to go for the World Championship. So, you know, we got one more thing to try to do here.
And I know the big part of your team is the group from Whispering Turbines.
Sure is. I mean, they're some of the most powerful engines in the world that I've driven. So I've been lucky to be sitting on these monsters here for the last 5 years, and it's been fun.
What's it like when you light those, Dave, and then you head out on the water?
They're just unbelievable. You know, there's nothing like having 3,000 or 4,000 horsepower underneath you. You know, it's just a real kick in the pants.
And you know you have the reliability with these guys behind you too.
Sure do. That's what, you know, they really keep on top of these things. We don't have a lot of them like we had on some other teams, so we just try to make the ones that we have really, really good. And so Tracy and Adam, Whispering Turbines, do an unbelievable job of just that, of taking care of the equipment. So they've been good for us.
So coming up in Heat 3B, the big story here is Scott Liddycoat.
Boy, you're right. He and J. Michael Kelly disqualified for a fuel violation in their second heat. Scott has just 300 points. There are just 4 rounds of heat competition. Each heat is 3 laps. All those points plus qualifying determine the boats that make the final. Here are the GoPro onboard cameras. There's Kip Brown, Steve David, and the Oh Boy Oberto.
There's Scott Lidico, Bill, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Scott since his disqualification in the first heat.
Ryan Perkins in the 21. He has Muscle Farm on board this week. Muscle Farm, a company that makes nutritional supplements for any type of athlete. Coming down to the start, you see the Peters and May countdown clock.
Boy, he's been nailing it all year, Bill. It looks like Kip Brown is going to lead this thing to the start.
Man, that was close.
Yeah, that's too hard to call right there.
They charge into turn 1.
And Kip will definitely lead him into this turn. We'll have to go back and see if that was a legal start, but this is going to be almost a cakewalk for Kip if he can keep this thing out front.
Steve David in the middle of this field, trying to negotiate his way through traffic. There's Jimmy Shane driving for Mark Evans, who did not make the trip here to Doha. He's in lane 1. Scott Lidico, as Mike talked about, he really needs the points in this heat.
Yeah, he's not in a very good position in that lane to make a move here. He's kind of hung out to dry, Bill.
Kip Brown in lane 2 continues to lead.
Kip Brown sitting in that cockpit, Bill, just waiting for somebody on shore to either confirm or deny the fact that he nailed that start.
Kip's first lap, 133.7 miles per hour, and we are being told it is a good start. All boats are legal.
Boy, there's nothing better than hearing that news when you're in the cockpit, Bill, when you're that far out front.
Yeah, especially when you knew it was close. On board with Kip Brown, there's Jimmy Shane. He started in lane 1. He's currently running in the 3rd position. On board with Scott Lidicoat, and here comes Lidicoat making the pass.
A crucial pass at that, Bill. He needs all the points he can get to get into the final.
There's the tap-out Muscle Farm ride for Brian Perkins. He's having a tough time. When you draw lane 5, and he did, you have a lot of work to get done.
Steve David here probably doing everything he can to catch him, but you know what, Bill? He might also be thinking he jumped the gun, so why should I tear up my equipment?
You know, here's an interesting story about Kip Brown and Steve David. In our San Diego show, Steve was very complimentary of Kip Brown. In fact, he went back and repeated himself. Kip Brown and his uncle Nate saw that interview on the plane flight to Qatar, and Nate reached across the aisle after he heard Steve's very complimentary description of Kip's talents and gave Kip a low 5, saying, if you've got that guy's respect, you're a good driver. And Kip said, if there's one guy I'd like to emulate in this sport, that would be Steve David. And right now, racing for the lead in this heat. There's Scott Lidicoat, the rookie, looking for his first win in an Unlimited. Has 2 second-place finishes this year.
And unlike Steve David, Scott Lidicoat is probably flying this thing as much as he can to get as many points as he can.
Lost his points in his first heat when he was disqualified for a fuel violation. There's Kip Brown coming through the final turn, headed for the checkered flag. Very close at the start. It was ruled good, and Kip Brown has a win here on Doha Bay in Heat 3B. His average speed over 133 miles per hour. Now for some breaking news from the pits, let's check in with our partner, Steve Montgomery.
For H1 Unlimited 2011 marks our 3rd very successful trip here to the beautiful country of Qatar and the city of Doha. And now some very good news as our host, Sheikh Hassan Al Thani, president of the Qatar Marine Sports Federation, tells us he wants us back again. True, sir?
Oh, yes, indeed. It's very truthful. The H1 is the most exciting sport you can ever find. It's the fastest sport, fastest powerboarding on the water. Without, its success for the past 2 years and now the 3rd year in a row. The spectators loves it. Everybody loves it. And that's why you guys, we welcome you in 2012.
Now, maybe sometime in the future, the Sheikh's son, Sheikh Nawaf, may be in an Air National Guard Unlimited, but earlier this weekend, he got his start in a J-Stock outboard.
Yeah, these J-Stocks are great, Bill. There's quite a few drivers that have gotten their start in racing by driving a J-Stock.
Now to Steve with a current star of the sport.
Kip Brown, all you had to do was hold off one of the best in the world. No problem, huh?
Big problem. I had to lace the start, and I hope that I did. I think they're reviewing it, but they said good start on the radio, and that was my only chance. I mean, I had the inside lane. We had our Go Fast setup on there, and man, it was pretty awesome. He kept saying, you're 4 up, you're 5 up, and I'm like, man, I'm holding off Steve David. This is incredible.
That's some breaking news, reviewing the start. We'll check on that. Meanwhile, Danny Walters taking a picture of Dave Villwock and a couple of members of the U.S. military.
Hi, my name is Isaac Banks. I'm here with the U.S. Army in Doha, Qatar. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all the people back home in the United States. Love you, Mom. Love you, Samantha. Go Army.
He's my boyfriend.
my dad.
My son.
He's my hero.
The Air Guard, Battlefield Airmen.
The first and most important step toward accomplishing something is showing up. And with the most advanced all-wheel drive system in its class that adapts to conditions as they change, now all you have to worry about is what you accomplish when you get there.
Every week on NFL Turning Point, we take you inside.
This is no quarter.
The game's most critical moments. NFL Turning Point with Dan Patrick, Wednesday after NHL on Versus.
If you're between the ages of 40 and 85, call 1-800-498-3085 now to find out more about Funeral Advantage. The average funeral costs over $9,000, but the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255, leaving your loved ones to pay the balance. Funeral Advantage helps protect your loved ones. It pays up to $20,000 cash immediately for funeral and any other expenses. It's easy. No physical examination is necessary. And coverage starts as soon as you're accepted. Funeral Advantage pays up to $20,000 cash to your family when they need it most. To get free information about Funeral Advantage and its benefits, call 1-800-498-3085 now. There's no obligation. Call now.
Once we said goodbye to big bills for phone and internet, we made critical new hires.
Losing the bill from the phone company let us invest in the people we already have.
After we put an end to years of keeping the same old DSL, we got started on upgrading our technology.
Putting a stop to inflated bills from the phone company helped us greenlight our expansion.
We switched.
We switched
To Comcast Business Class.
Fast internet,
better phone,
Cloud services from Microsoft. Big savings.
Find out how much your business can save. Call 800-391-3000 for Comcast Business Class.
Hi, my name is Specialist Jesse Lewis. I'm part of the 175th MP Battalion, and I just want to say happy holidays to my friends and family back in Columbia, Missouri.
Well, you heard Kip Brown tell Steve that the start was being reviewed after the race, and it was, and Kip has been taken down for jumping the start in Heat 3B. I spoke with team owner Nate Brown. He's not pleased that they used a $12,000 propeller in that heat. The big winner here could be Scott Liddycoat by moving up that one spot. 75 more points. Both Scott and Kip Brown in danger of missing the final. That's the 21, the tap-out Muscle Farm boat of Brian Perkins, involved in a post-race incident with Jimmy Shane, who couldn't get his boat to shut off.
My first thought in my mind was I got to get out of the way, and I turned away from the docks and didn't see anybody and kind of went straight for a little while, and then Brian popped up, and I'm like, no. Turned the wheel as hard as I could and tried to hit him as soft as I could. After that, Brian jumped on the boat and he helped me get the lid open. We did everything we could. We started to pull the cowling off of the boat, but we didn't have the proper tools to get it off. So at that point, I was like, well, I guess I better start heading back towards the dock where some people can help us. So I just kind of turned the rudder, hopefully the right way, and we just kind of arced around. And at that point, anybody that got close, they jumped up on there, got the cowling off, and they were able to shut it down.
Now we can tell you both boats suffered just minor damage and everybody's okay. This is the season finale. Be sure to follow the H1 series all year long on the internet. You can check out their Facebook page and you can follow them on Twitter. Propellers, very important part of the sport. And for more on props, here's Steve.
The Elstrom family, well known for their racing operation, running the 96 Spirit of Qatar, but behind the scenes here at 5-Axis Industries, they play a key role in the manufacturing of things like parts for the Boeing 787, or more important to us perhaps, turbine casings and propellers for various kinds of boat racing. Eric, the process of getting a 130-pound block of stainless to a 19-pound propeller, very fascinating.
It is, and it's difficult. We have 4 basic alloys which we make propellers out of. All 4 are superior aerospace grade alloys. And it depends on the application will determine the alloy we will use. We start in the computer room. It's our engineering, where we have CAD software, we have solid modeling software, and we have fatigue software where we can actually stress analyze propellers. After the design process is done, the forging goes to a machine that does the roughing. It's a big heavy-duty machine. We take big cuts and we rough out the entire profile of the propeller. So it looks like a propeller, but it's an extremely rough form. After the roughing process is done, then we take it to another machine, which we call the Swedish bandsaw. My dad named it. And it's a wire EDM. In that machine, we put either a taper in the propeller or a spline in the propeller or whatever the customer needs to mount it to his shaft. That's done to exacting tolerances. We hold a total of plus minus 3/10,000ths of an inch, and then it's measured to check. After the EDM process is done, then this propeller is mounted in our 5-axis machine, where it is mounted and measured again, checked for all the rotations, and then we start cutting. And it's measured and machined from the center out to maintain its concentricity. After the propeller is done being machined in the 5-axis machine, it's taken off and remeasured again. Now the propellers are also balanced and hand polished to G2.5 standards, which means we'll balance these things to over an 18,000 RPM to ensure that when it goes on the back of the boat, it outperforms everything.
And the finished product, 3 blades for unlimited hydroplanes, 5 blades for offshore, and some other applications as well.
We build propellers for many classes. Unlimiteds, Class 1 in Europe, Extreme here in the States, F1 overseas, and the list goes on and on and on. Anywhere where extreme applications are necessary, I think we design and build a propeller to fit those applications.
Those propellers helping out Dave Villwock. He's on top of the points after the 3rd round of heats, but look at the bottom of this list. Right now, Scott Liddycoat, J. Michael Kelly on the outside looking in with 1 more round of heats to go.
On behalf of the 175th MP Battalion stationed at Camp Asalea Qatar, we'd like to say to you, Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone back home.
Get out and play. Go to VulcanPaintball.com.
Formula Powerboats, born of innovation and superb design, executed to deliver the ride, performance, and amenities you expect. Formula Sun Sports and Super Sports define dayboating adventure. Formula Yachts and Performance Cruisers, striking and luxurious. And Fast Tech Hull technology powers you to big water high performance. For a world-class boating experience, contact your Formula dealer or visit formulaboats.com today.
Let's go to Vegas. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas, baby. But maybe we should head back to the dealership first. Because Vegas. This is a test drive. Vegas. So.
It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. Volkswagen Sign and Drive is back, and it's never been easier to get a Jetta. That's the power of German engineering. Get 0 first month's payment, 0 down, 0 security deposit, and 0 do-it signing on any new Volkswagen. Visit VWDealer.com.
My electric bill was breaking the bank. So to save some money, I trained this team of guinea pigs to row this tiny boat. They generate electricity, which lets me surf the web all day. Took me 6 months to train each one. 8 months to get the little chubby one to yell row. It was kind of strange. Such a simple word. Row.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The NHL is on Versus. Tomorrow, the Stars take on the Blues. Tuesday, the Blues are back in action against the Wings. On Wednesday Night Hockey, Richards and the Rangers face off against the Caps. This week, the NHL is on Versus.
Introducing the new 24-hour sports network, the NBC Sports Network, coming January 2nd.
Hey everybody, this is PFC Sexton from Doha Qtar. Happy holidays to my family. Miss you guys. Love you.
All All the trimmings you would expect at an Air National Guard Unlimited Hydroplane event. This parade was on Friday night, and it was a blast to watch. Time now for Heat 4A, the lane selected by the drivers in the order the boats were drawn. J. Michael Kelly gets the inside. Kip Brown must have a very good finish if he has any hope at all of making the final. Jeff Bernard once again will have to come from lane 5, and that is hard to do. Boats on the backstretch, squaring up for the start. The GoPro onboard cameras, J. Michael Kelly, the Degree Man 88. Kip Brown in the Miss Red Dot. There's the 57 of Jimmy Shane. You see that boat's back on the water after that incident earlier in the day. Steve David. And that's Jeff Bernard in the 5-gram trucking machine. Getting ready for the start of Heat 4A. You see the Peters and May countdown clock. The two guys you're really watching here are in the first 2 lanes, J. Michael Kelly and Kip Brown. Green flag in the air. And it's a legal start. All boats are good. How motivated is this guy right here, Kip Brown?
Extremely motivated, Bill. He's a little aggravated from his last heat, but he's going to come out here and do everything he can to try and pull a first place so he can get those ever important points to get into the final.
Kip was penalized for jumping the start in his previous heat.
He's also got to keep in mind, Bill, that he doesn't need any encroachment calls as well, which would keep him out of that final.
Now, they are using the same propeller in this heat on the 17 that they used in the previous heat because it's so valuable. But Nate warned Kip, if you feel anything in the back of this boat, shut it down because we don't want to throw a propeller.
And that's important, Bill. They put their best prop on here because they know they need their best finish to get into the final.
This basically is a final for them.
It is. It is.
They really need the win. And they run side by side, J. Michael Kelly and Kip Brown. Brown takes the lead on lap 1.
Yeah, that's a pretty good lap there, Bill. 133.141 miles per hour by Kip Brown.
That was 5 miles an hour faster than the second fastest boat, which was Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto. But there is Kip Brown, desperate for points, wants the victory, wants to make the final.
Unfortunately, Uncle Nate put a bug in his ear and said, if you feel anything, back her down.
Jimmy Shane off the pace, and he shuts down the 57. Back up front, the race for the lead. Mike Kelly on the inside lane. Kip Brown in that multicolored Miss Red Dot, the 17. Flies that boat a little.
Yeah, he's definitely flying it, Bill. He's got that thing aired out because he's got to get in that final.
Rooster tails climbing high into the sky as they go through turn 2. J. Michael Kelly goes back in the lead, and Kip Brown is off the pace.
Boy, that's going to be extremely disappointing for that team, Bill. They just probably won't make it into the final.
They probably won't. Steve David takes over second place. So J. Michael Kelly leads. Steve David is second, and there's the third place boat of Jeff Bernard. Race leader, J. Michael Kelly, second lap, 133.642 miles an hour. That's more than 7 miles an hour faster than he was on the first lap. Now, how does Kip Brown feel right now?
Kip is extremely disappointed, Bill, because now they know they don't have a shot at this World Championship.
A lot of clean water now for J. Michael Kelly in the Degree Men, and we saw in the point standings he really needed a good run here. Second place right now, Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto, and running third, Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking. Jeff had to start outside in lane 5, but running third right now. But it's another solid run for J. Michael Kelly. He must really feel good in this boat.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get this thing dialed in. They started with a brand new boat the first race of the season, and it's going to take a while to get her dialed in.
Checkered flag in the air, and a win for J. Michael. This week, it's Major Wendy Hedrick from the Arizona Air National Guard.
I joined the Air Guard because providing the freedoms and the choices for my children was really one of the most important things for me to do.
I think one of the most amazing things about being a fighter pilot is just being part of the entire mission. And the Guard is great for that. We have heavy support, air refueling support, we have the unmanned aerial vehicle support. And when you bring us all together, it just makes us perform our overall mission even better. We fly about 34 sorties, turn 34 sorties every day here at Tucson. We are the largest Air Guard wing in the country. And we have an incredible amount of student training that we do, and then we also have instructor pilot continuation training to keep us up to speed on what's going on too.
The Air Guard really has the flexibility to work around the life that you would like to live, as opposed to the active duty, which really dictates, the style of life that you're allowed to have.
disappointed Kip Brown, a couple of second-place finishes this year in a third, but he will not make the final in Doha. Getting ready for Heat 4B, but before that, we have a special message for you.
Will Schaefer, Sergeant from Belle Plaine, Kansas. I want to say hello to Mom and Dad. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Love you, miss you.
As a health professional, you hear it. A call to serve others in need. This is the sound of giving back. The beat of a glorious heart. The voice of honor. Duty. Heroism. Do you hear it? If you're a health professional that hears the call, make the call.
It's under the tree that matters. It's who's around it.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
So much shrimp cocktail. Where do you think it all comes from?
Elves.
Hurry up, Black! Storm's brewing!
Stop it.
What I loved about eHarmony was the fact that you have the compatibility matching. The profile that came out was so accurate, it was just uncanny. The person that they're going to fall in love with is the real you.
Review your matches free at eHarmony.com.
Hello? It's water from the drinking fountain at the mall.
Great tasting tap water can come from any faucet anywhere. The Brita bottle with a filter inside.
Hi everyone, this is Specialist Noli Jensen. Just a shout out to my mom and my brother. Love y'all, miss y'all. Happy holidays.
And a shout out to all our troops all around the world. Brian Perkins and the Tap Out Muscle Farm Ride. One of the drivers getting ready for Heat 4B. Take a look at the results from 4A. Nice run for J. Michael Kelly. He gets the 400 points. Steve David came home second and Jeff Bernard third. Big win for J. Michael Kelly and the Degree Men.
J. Michael Kelly, the 88 Degree Men. It's a rough water boat. You've been waiting for these conditions, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, we've been off and on with the rough water boat. You know, it's either been a smooth water or rough water, and you know, so far, I mean, with those conditions out there, that heat, I mean, we got a rough water boat. So 5-lapper, I think we're ready for it, and I couldn't be happier for the Degree Men and the guys that have been working so hard to get us up there, and you know, it's definitely showing. So, you know, we're getting closer and closer every time.
Here is the lineup for Heat 4B, and without going through all the math, Scott Liddycoat really needs to win this heat, or this talented rookie may finish the season watching the final instead of racing in it. Scott has lane 1, but Dave Villwalk is living right next door, and that's a pretty fast neighbor. Here are the GoPro onboard cameras.
Couldn't ask for more, Bill. He got the lane draw that he wanted, and the lane draw that he needed to go out and try and win this heat.
Hey, we want to remind you, you can get all the off-season news from the Air National Guard Unlimited series on the internet. Plus, you can always like us on Facebook and follow the series on Twitter. It's going to be a busy off-season, so we'll be keeping in touch with you via social media. Guys getting ready to come down for the start of Heat 4B. You see the Peters and May countdown clock. Brian Perkins leading the way.
Wow, look at the head of steam on the outside by Greg Hopp.
That was close. That was very close. On board with Scott Liddycoat in lane 1 with Dave Villwalk right next to him in lane 2. They head for turn 1.
Or if there's somebody you don't want to see to your right, Bill, it would be the 96 of Dave Villwalk.
Scott Liddycoat is really going to be pedaling to hang on to that inside lane. They head down the backstretch. On board the Spirit of Qatar. Villwalk racing in front of his home country fans. That's what Scott Liddycoat sees. If he looks to his right, he sees Dave Villwalk taking the lead.
And that inside lane is going to pay off for him, Bill, because he'll have the shorter way around this race course. As Scott, wow, uses up a little bit more course than he wanted to right there.
Villwalk left him a little room, too. Side by high side as they come around to complete lap 1.
Pretty evident here, Bill. You can see that the Spirit of Qatar has the shoot speed, but Scott has the shorter way around the race course, so he makes up for that difference on the inside.
And look at this, Mike. 130.7 miles per hour for Vilwak, 129.6 for Scott Liddycoat.
Yeah, that's very close, Bill. That's going to make for a real close race here and probably a close finish as well.
Down the backstretch, Vilwak tries to stretch it out a little bit. Cannot stress how important it is for Scott Liddycoat to try and win this heat to get enough points to make the final. By the way, we have been told that Greg Hopp was early, did jump the start. He will have to make an extra lap. Working lap 2 of 3. Through the second turn, Vilwak leads, Liddycoat chases.
Yeah, you can see Dave's leaving him quite a bit of room, but he doesn't want to give him too much room because that's obviously going to extend his race course.
J.W. Myers, Peters and Mayride currently in the 3rd position. There's Greg Hopp. He's running 4th, but has been told he'll have to run an extra lap for jumping the start. And the tap-out muscle farm ride for Brian Perkins, currently 5th. On board with Dave Vilwak in the Spirit of Qatar. He's got the lead, less than a lap to go.
Water's starting to get a little bit rough here, Bill. Both guys airing them out. Scott probably more so than anybody else because he's got to make this win.
On lap 2, Vilwak 1.2 miles per hour faster. Just about half a second. Vilwak is the 2011 driving champion and the 2011 team champion. He's being chased by the guy that's going to be the 2011 Rookie of the Year. Scott Liddycoat closing up as they head for the checkered flag.
Scott doing everything he can here, Bill. Believe me, he's going to put that wing in the up position and try and get to this line first.
At the finish. Wow. That's too close to call.
Way too close to call, Bill. We're going to have to rely on the cameras on the start-finish line for this one. As you can see, Scott had the lead, but here comes Dave Vilwak on the outside. I think if he had another 100 yards, he might have been able to take it, but Scott pulled it off.
Sam Colt is the chairman for the Air National Guard Unlimited Hydroplane Series. And first of all, Sam, congratulations on a fantastic season.
Oh, it has been. I think it's exceeded all expectations. We're excited to have a series sponsor, the Air National Guard. New sponsors in the sport, Degree for Men, Vulcan, and on down the list. Tap Out now, Muscle Farm. You know, the sport is kind of coming back into its own. We've got some great owners out there now that are really getting behind what we're doing, and we're bringing the value to potential sponsors and new sponsors that the sport really needs to do.
Sam, grade your season for us.
Realistically, I would give the sport a B+ this year. We've got a ways to go. We've come a long way. We're almost at that A level and looking forward to say an A+ to you next year.
400 crucial points here for Scott Liddycoat. The difference between first place and second, 0.3 of a mile an hour. Now, let's go down to our special correspondent.
God, buddy, great race. How was that out there?
It's awesome. I mean, hey, to win a heat's great anytime.
Getting closer to your real Christmas present, right?
That's right. Well, you can bring me about 10 more miles an hour, too, if you want to.
We'll work on that and get it to you before the final.
Thanks. I'll take it early.
Good luck. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So here are the points and the drivers that make the final. The top 6 are in. Brian Perkins will start the final as a trailer. Kip Brown, the veteran, does not qualify for the final. There's the hardware. Who will win the RX Cup? The World Championship is next on Versus.
Play. Go to VulcanPaintball.com.
Formula Powerboats, born of innovation and superb design, executed to deliver the ride, performance, and amenities you expect. Formula Sun Sports and Super Sports define day boating adventure. Formula Yachts and Performance Cruisers, striking and luxurious. And Fast Tech Hull technology powers you to big water high performance. For a world-class boating experience, contact your Formula dealer or visit formulaboats.com today.
Name Your Price tool. You tell us what you want to pay, and we give you a range of coverages to choose from.
Who is she?
That's Flowbot. She's this new robot we're trying out, mostly for, like, small stuff.
Wow. Look at her go.
She's pretty good. She's pretty good. Hey, Flowbot. Great job. Oops. Uh-oh, Flowbot is broken.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive. Call or click today.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention kidney dialysis patients. If you became a dialysis patient after open heart surgery, you may have a claim for money damages. A drug commonly used during heart surgery has been found to double the risk of kidney failure. Unfortunately, you may not know if you were given this drug. But if you've been forced to undergo kidney dialysis after open heart surgery,
call 800-270-4965. That's 800-270-4965.
Once we said goodbye to big bills for phone and internet, we made critical new hires.
Losing the bill from the phone company let us invest in the people we already have.
After we put an end to years of keeping the same old DSL, we got started on upgrading our technology.
Putting a stop to inflated bills from the phone company helped us greenlight our expansion.
We switched. We switched.
We switched to Comcast Business Class.
Fast internet,
better phone.
Cloud services from Microsoft. Big savings.
Find out how much your business can save. Call 800-391-3000 for Comcast Business Class.
Welcome back to sunny and hot Doha, Qatar. Getting ready for the World Championship race. But before we go racing, some of our friends in the United States Armed Forces have a message for you and yours.
Specialist Cameron Barnett with 1137th Military Police Company, wishing everyone back home a happy holiday.
From Doha, Qatar, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
I'm Staff Sergeant Michael Wagner with the United States Army, and I'm with Team Degree. I want to send a shout out to my friends and family back in Phoenix, Arizona.
Happy holidays!
From Doha, Qatar, Merry Christmas and happy holidays to my wife and son and family.
This is Specialist Barry DeMint. Merry Christmas.
Ken Kleinstrode, Specialist. I'd like to say Merry Christmas to my wife, my kids, and my parents from Doha, Qatar. Love y'all.
Hi, I'm Private Wells from St. Louis, Missouri. Wishing my parents a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
We're serving in the Armed Forces overseas, and we want to say Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone back home.
Matthew Barnes, Private First Class from St. Louis, Missouri. I want to say Merry Christmas to family and friends.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Tony Ellis from Dexter, Missouri. Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays from Doha. Hooah!
Getting ready for the final here in Doha. We will determine a world champion this afternoon. There has been one change in the starting lineup. The 21 of Brian Perkins has withdrawn. Jimmy Shane in the 57 will be the trailer. Greg Hopp has to come from lane 6. That's a lot of work. What's his plan in the final?
It's going to be pretty tough from the outside. There's a lot of speed on the inside. So we're just going to hang in there and hope for the best. Maybe a couple penalties and Lady Luck swings our way, and maybe we'll take this thing.
Take a look at the GoPro onboard cameras. And, Mike, I don't want to put words in Greg's mouth, but I think what his plan is to try and sucker those guys to the line and get them there early.
I think that is his plan. And, you know, being out with the lane draw that far out, he really doesn't have a choice. So it's actually a pretty good move if he can pull it off.
There's the 57 of Jimmy Shane. He'll have to start behind the field as the trailer, the 7th boat in the final.
This should be a good heat, Bill. We got a couple of heavy hitters sitting in 3 and 5. And the lane draw couldn't have gotten any better for Jeff Bernard and teammate Scott Liddycoat. They're sitting 1-2.
Scott Liddycoat, before his 4th heat, was on the outside looking in, but he was able to race his way into the final and then got the lucky draw and was able to take lane 1. The lanes, again, they were determined by a draw. So it was Liddycoat in lane 1, Bernard in lane 2, David in lane 3, Kelly in lane 4, Bill Walk in lane 5, and Greg Hopp all the way out in lane 6. And you see Greg way ahead of the field.
I think he's trying to pull his plan off here, Bill.
You see the Peterson May countdown clock. Hopp is on the outside. Now he seems to be slowing down. Look at those guys go charging past him.
You know, at this point, Bill, when you're sitting in those inside lanes, you just got to go. You don't know if you're late or not. You just got to go.
On board with Scott Liddycoat, the 40-year-old rookie. He has the inside lane chasing a world championship. Some talented drivers right on his side. Dave Philwalk in the Spirit of Qatar.
Wow, Scott Scott was doing the best he could, but there's a lot of speed in that Alberto out on the outside.
That's Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto back on board. That was the Vulcan.com. He's in the inside lane. That's Steve David. We're being told the start is under review. Officials are reviewing the start of the World Championship final.
As a driver, Bill, you've got to put that completely out of your head and run this race like it was your last and try and win it.
Smooth ride for Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto. On board with Liddicoat in lane 1. Falcon.com.
Right now, Bill, Steve just has to make sure he doesn't have any interference with Scott on the inside. But you can bet he's looking in that mirror on the right side, looking for Vilwalk to come up and challenge him.
Now, this is going to be 5 laps, so the water's really going to rough up.
Yep, it will get rough probably about lap 4, and these guys are going to have to hang on.
On board with Steve David, trying to capture the World Championship.
Bill, Steve has to be very cognizant here of Scott on the inside and Vilwalk on the outside, so he's got to hold his lane.
That's Scott Liddicoat in lane 1. 2011 Series champion Dave Vilwalk had to start in lane 5. That's a huge hurdle to overcome. You have to have at least 10 boat links on your competitor before you can move over. Steve David barely has 1 or 2 on Scott Liddicoat. On board with Liddicoat looking at the Oh Boy Alberto. Steve David has the speed, Liddicoat has the lane. The degree man for J. Michael Kelly, he runs in 4th. Jeff Bernard in the 5-gram trucking in the 5th position. In 6th, the Leland Unlimited for Greg Hopp. We're being told now by race officials the start was good. All boats were legal. That comes from the official stand. All boats were legal at the start. That's a close call.
That's very close, Bill.
On board with Scott Liddicoat, Falcon.com on the inside lane, but Steve David starting to edge away. Liddicoat trying to hang on.
Speaking of Scott, Bill, don't forget he told us before the race that he would grade himself an A+ if they were to get a win.
Has been fabulous as a rookie, but has not won a final.
Whoa! Wow. Scott slid out a little bit and almost got into the rooster tail of Steve David.
David is the race leader. Closing laps of the World Championship. Look at that.
Wow, Bill. We got 200-mile-an-hour deck-to-deck competition. Then you throw in a little bit of sun, and I think you probably ought to just close your eyes.
The U-96 of Dave Vilwalk started in lane 5, having trouble making up ground. There's your race leader. There's your second place boat. Scott Liddicoat, thefalcon.com.
You know, I'm sure he's giving it all he's got, Bill, but it's going to be hard to beat that Alberto.
No shame running second to Steve David.
No, not at all. Very good driver, very good team.
On board, Scott Liddicoat. There is your race leader, Steve David.
And because they have communication with the crew on shore, Bill, Steve has already heard that it's a clean start, and he probably couldn't be any happier right now.
So Steve David runs in first. Scott Liddicoat in the Vulcan.com runs into the second position.
You see Scott cross lanes there real quick, Bill. That's so he can get a clean bite on the propeller to keep that speed up.
Working the last lap now. That's Dave Vilwalk. He's in 3rd. J. Michael Kelly runs in 4th in the Degree Man 88. 5th place to Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking number 5. There's your 6th place boat, Greg Hopp in the Leland Unlimited. Jimmy Shane started as the trailer, runs in 7th. Steve David on the backstretch now, half a mile from the finish. Steve made it very clear when he got here he wanted to take home the World Championship. Vilwalk started in lane 5, never able to mount a threat.
Half a turn left for Steve David, and he's probably hearing all kind of gremlins.
Takes that Oh Boy Alberta machine wide through the final turn, heading for the checkered flag. He will turn 58 years old in January, but today he's going to make the turn into the winner's circle. Steve David captures the World Championship and the Orex Cup in Doha, Qatar. When we come back, we'll talk to the winner and celebrate with the Oh Boy Alberto team in Doha.
This is an infomercial. We're selling freedom. We're advertising honor. The offer is for a new life. Visit us now and receive more than you ever bargained for. The Air Guard. Battlefield Airmen.
In the wintertime, sometimes you want a bigger beer, a little bit maltier with some spices in it.
You want something that's going to bring you back to life.
Sam Adams Winter Lager is a wheat bock.
With some holiday spices.
We use orange peel, ginger, and cinnamon.
Wherever we can get the best ingredients, that's where we go.
From Samuel Adams Winter Lager, we looked at a range of different cinnamons from different countries, and we ended up with the Saigon cinnamon.
We grind spices fresh right before we put it into the kettle.
Those fresh ground spices make a huge difference in the taste of the beer.
It's delicious.
Afghanistan has become one of the most dangerous spots on Earth. The weapon of choice there increasingly is the IED.
We're going out there against something that doesn't have a personality, a soul, and it wants to kill you.
EOD stated by transmitter when ready.
On January 2nd, a new era in sports coverage begins as Versus becomes the NBC Sports Network. It all begins at 4 with post-game coverage of the Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic. At 4:30, it's the premiere of Cold War on Ice, a documentary looking back at the climactic series between the Canadian All-Stars and the Soviet Union. Then at 6, it's NBC Sports Talk, followed by the Sharks and Canucks. January 2nd, the launch of the NBC Sports Network.
Coverage of the 2011 Air National Guard Hydroplane Series is brought to you by Air National Guard. Visit goang.com to learn more about exciting opportunities in your area. Falcon Sports, get out and play paintball. Check falconpaintball.com for a field near you. And by Peters & May. For professional management of your worldwide boat transport and logistics, remember Peters & May.
Welcome back to Doha. Two teams have requested a review of the start of the final heat. The results of that review are about to be announced by Chief Referee Mike Noonan.
We had with our equipment to have to go back after the heat, and we looked at our videos. We take at the start, so to tell if it was a legal start. It wasn't until after the heat was completed that we looked at the video, and it clearly showed that the 1, the 88, and the 96 jumped the gun.
So a requested post-race review of the start has overturned the original call that the start was good. And in a shocking development, Scott Liddycoat is the new world champion.
Well, Scott Liddycoat, what a pleasant surprise. What a spectacular rookie season. What a way to finish it, huh?
Oh, yeah, you couldn't ask for much better than this. I dreamed about it a lot, but I really didn't know if it was going to happen. But like I said, my crew, they give me an awesome boat every week. So, I mean, they make my job pretty easy.
Here are the national high points for the drivers. Congratulations to the 2011 champion, Dave Villwock. Jeff Bernard, runner-up in driver points, runner-up in the World Championship.
Jeff Bernard, second place. A good start in the final. Turned out to be a great start for you.
Yeah, I thought that we were pretty close, and this ain't the way we want to get second, but we'll take it. And congratulations to my teammate, Scott. And thanks to Rob Graham and Graham Trucking for everything they've done, and my whole team.
Here are the team national high point standings. Congratulations to the Spirit of Qatar and everyone at Alstrom Racing. They get that coveted #1 next season. Down to the pits with our third place finisher.
Greg Hopp, every boat racer knows you must not start the race too early. Did you think people were across?
Yeah, you know, I thought maybe a few boats went over. I was darn close. And after further review at the end of the race, sure enough, 3 boats jumped. So we moved for the Leland Unlimited team. We moved up from 6th to 3rd. So, and to add another footnote, I want to say congratulations to the Vulcan team. Another rookie, Scott Liddycoat, won. This is 2 out of 3 years rookies won the World Championship. That's a heck of a feat.
A couple more looks at the start, Mike. This is highly unusual.
It is highly unusual, Bill. We got 3 of the best drivers in the country, 2 of the fastest boats that neither had to necessarily push this line.
Very controversial decision. The reaction from Steve David.
Well, certainly great disappointment. You know, to go from the world champion to 4th or 5th place is pretty disappointing. But the 88 and the 96 and us were tossed for jumping. That's a very rare occurrence. In the race, they said it was a good start. An hour later, they say it's not a good start. So, you know, we'll take this and just get stronger and come back and kick some butt next year.
Controversial finish to a very exciting season, including the first career win for Scott Liddycoat.
And also, don't forget Dave Villwock, Bill. He's the all-time winningest driver. He won the Gold Cup and the championship.
I enjoyed it, pal. It was fun.
I had a blast, Bill.
Follow us all year on the internet and keep in touch via Facebook and Twitter. For Mike Allen, Steve Montgomery, and all the men and women around the course and in the truck, I'm Bill Weber. Thanks for having us in for the race. Happy holidays to all, and so long from Doha.
The NBC
are using Meaningful Beauty, and that it actually is making a difference in their lives. It's giving them confidence. It's changing the way they feel about their skin. I love that.
Coming up, join me, together with a wonderful live audience, as Cindy shares the magic that's kept her skin looking so young and surprisingly wrinkle-free for the last 15 years.
It's that whole journey of taking care of yourself in every different way. It's about getting meaningful results.
Plus, you'll meet the fabulous man behind these remarkable formulas, Dr. Jean-Louis Sabag. Dr. Sabag, could you fill us in a little bit on the glowing serum and why that's so magical?
This is my red carpet secret for all my celebrities, because it will give you an instant glow, radiance, and vibrancy to your face.
Then, a rare peek inside Cindy's Malibu house.
Welcome. Come on in.
You'll meet Cindy's mom and her sisters and get the inside scoop on Cindy and Meaningful Beauty.
There's lots of perks to being Cindy's sister. She loves to help out Chris and I and her friends that we grew up with who don't have the access to the experts.
And the makeup comes off as Cindy shares exactly how she uses Meaningful Beauty every day.
That's what I do, and I'm ready to go out the door feeling great.
Hey, I'm almost 50 years old, and I really think my skin looks better today than it has in years. I'd say Cindy's secret is working.
Meaningful Beauty has totally changed my skin. I'm looking younger. As soon as you use Meaningful Beauty, your skin just glows. It's like this big thank you. It's just an incredible product. There's no other way of describing it.
A couple of years ago, when a friend asked if I wanted to try Cindy's skincare secret, I thought, hey, anything she's using, I want some. Well, today I am one of Meaningful Beauty's biggest fans. My fine lines and wrinkles, they look minimized. My pores look smaller. My whole complexion, it's brighter. I honestly believe my skin looks better today at age 49 than it has in years. And it's all thanks to Meaningful Beauty. So stay with me now as we discover much more about Cindy's secret and how you can experience this age-defying magic for your skin. It really is great to be with you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you here. It's great.
I'm loving it. I love your Meaningful Beauty. I love it, love it, love it. I've been using it now for 2 years, and my skin just seems to get better and better. I don't know how you do it, what you did, but let us in.
You know, obviously we have to take care of ourselves in a lot of different ways, but this is how I take care of my skin, and now you take care of your skin. That's what's so exciting. I mean, when I originally did Meaningful Beauty, I wanted to share it, you know, with my friends and my mother, who's right there in the audience today. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Okay, now, Cindy, tell us about this amazing French doctor, Dr. Sabag.
Well, I met Dr. Sabag when I was 28 years old. A friend of mine who's a makeup artist said, you should check out this doctor in Paris. So I went, I made an appointment, went to the second floor, buzzed the buzzer. This man opened the door, and he just had the most incredible smile and energy. And he was doing this antioxidant vitamin therapy, and it comes from a melon in the south of France that really helps your skin from showing the signs of aging. And after the very first time I saw him, my skin looked completely